I know I look wrecked. I look wrecked, I know. It in London. Again, you've just done it again. Brilliant words. I have to read out your message here again. But you generally post message. There I go scratching my nose again. And it could be on what I'm about to read. Because I'm always scratching my nose. And people think I'm on cocaine. Because I'm so hyper normally, you know, blah, 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 we're talking away, blah, blah. She says I'm absolutely not. Now, have I lost it? No, here it is. Right. You say, this is an excerpt from a message I sent someone about not being able to breathe through their nose. Well, if this is an excerpt, my God, I would have loved to have seen the Lord of the Rings style book. Okay, this is a brilliant next... Everybody listen to this. Anybody who's XXY, listen to this. Alright? Get away from me, flying object. This is the real reason some XXYs cannot breathe through their noses and thus lose their sense of smell. This is a real science and does not include syndromes. In the same video you mentioned about tasting the air, if that is because you cannot smell, then join the club. A lot of XXYs or XXY mosaics cannot breathe through our noses, and a large number of us who cannot smell. I cannot smell. That is why I have a very large objection to farts. I can taste them, and others do not experience the same atrocities that I do. This whole thing of not being able to breathe is to do with increased blood flow through the left frontal broca, an area of the brain within the left frontal temporal lobe. This increased blood flow is also directed to the nose, and so constricts the nasal passage and stops airflow. Sometimes the ability to smell is lost because of this. I was always accused of lying because whenever I talked I would scratch my nose because it always itched, just like now. Also, this increased blood flow through the LFB causes minor Broca's aphasia. In some XXYs or XXY mosaics, this can cause expressive aphasia. When they cannot talk as complexly as they think so, they end up stopping halfway through their sentence or accidentally miss out words, because the LFB and RFB controls the motor senses of the mouth and voice box, so any signal from the LFB is disrupted. So even though they know many large words and can easily write complex sentences, they cannot speak them. This is only a minority of XXYs and XXY mosaics, but the effect on all XXYs or XXY mosaic is an increased linguistic dependence on the right frontal broca, which is for non-monotone speech like singing. This makes XXYs or XXY mosaics more compelled to sing and even to speak in fluctuating ways. I am not an expert on you, but I can see this. You are just like me in this respect. I love to go really high then really low, speed up then slow down. It's because the LFB is a tiny bit slower than the RFB, and I really mean a tiny bit slower, that the RFB receives speech signals before the LFB does, and also sends the signals to the relevant speech before the before the organs. No, sorry, that's wrong, I have to say that again. It is because the LFB is a tiny bit slower than the RFB, and I really mean a tiny bit slower, that the RFB receives speech signals before the LFB does, and also sends the signals to the relevant speech organs before the LFB does. It is all dependent upon signals lasting microseconds. The RFB adapts to emotional and other non-monotone speech during the first years of life, so I am stuck with talking in a way that others will think is weird or even immature. But in reality they are wrong, because I am a normal, mature XXY mosaic. So never listen to any therapist, psychologist or psychiatrist in respect to this, because they do not study the brain and will diagnose you with Tourette's. This is wrong, and most people who supposedly have this non-existent disease called Tourette's, do you get my thumbs up there, actually have minor Broca's aphasia and other damage to the frontal lobe that cause an inability to suppress socially unacceptable behaviour, for example swearing, etc. But with XXYs or XXY mosaics, it really is just the blood flow of the LFB, the left frontal broca. So, Yes, so there you go. It isn't Klinefelter syndrome or Kalman syndrome. It is a real XXY-related neurophysiological condition. Now, I couldn't agree with you more on 90%, if not 95% of what you say and what you think. I think we both think very similarly. It's just that you're much better with the science to talk about it than I am. I couldn't dare start to talk in that language, but I can speak your language with my voice. So why don't the two of us work together? You keep writing me stuff like this. Tell me if you don't want me to put it up, but I think you do want me to put it up, don't you? I think I'm the voice, you're the brains. Yeah. I'm the creative. We're all creative. Let's get it together, but let's help the world. Brilliant, unbelievably brilliant. I'll leave this under the 6-minute mark, so maybe more millions will watch it instead of just 24 or 38 or 73. All right, ciao.